Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and believe it or not, I'm gonna blow your minds right now. There was skill-based matchmaking in the Modern Warfare 3 beta. Who would have thought? My goodness, skill-based matchmaking is still alive and well. It's one of those things, dude. Like, people always ask me to talk about skill-based matchmaking. You know, they say it's going to ruin the game. They say that's the reason why they're not buying the game. I fully believe that. I fully believe that lots of people are not going to be buying Modern Warfare 3 because skill-based matchmaking has turned them off the entire idea of the franchise. Skill-based matchmaking was incredibly thick during the beta, but the reason why I don't bring it up that often, and the reason why other content creators don't bring it up that often, is it's been spoken about to death at this point, pretty much. I mean, going back to Black Ops 2, people were talking about skill-based matchmaking, especially back in Advanced Warfare, and definitely ever since Modern Warfare 2019, where things really started to get ramped up, or at least it seems that way, right? It's not as if I'm against speaking about skill-based matchmaking. In fact, we talk about it all the time whenever I'm live streaming COD, because you can just see it happen in real time. Like, you have a really good match, the very next game is just absurd. It's just how it is, man. And some people say it's not skill-based matchmaking, it's engagement optimized matchmaking, whatever. Dude, it's just a term. We call it skill-based matchmaking. That's what it is. And the thing about the beta, right? Obviously, I was not doing well because I'm playing on PlayStation. I'm using a foreign controller. I'm not used to this controller, and my right stick was broken on my controller. So I chalked most of my problems up to that. But the beta itself, there are so many close wins and losses. Like, those used to be memorable. You know, back when you're playing Domination, you win 200 to 199. That was memorable. You're like, holy hell, can you believe that? We pulled it out last second. The math worked out perfectly. We had just enough time on the flags. That happened like routinely during the beta. It was actually kind of crazy. I started to make a little collage here of all the different matches that I had that ended up, well, we always ended up losing, but we ended up having that were very, very close. I'm like, dude, this is a beta and this is sweaty as all hell. Well, then today I saw a clip from XclusiveAce over on Twitter, and you guys know Ace by now, I hope, but if not, I'll put a link to him down there in the description. And he put up this footage right here. He got on his testing account, so he tests out different things. He's a stats and numbers guy, and these were the results of that. Just, it doesn't even look like he's playing the same game as to what I was playing or what most of you guys were playing during the Modern Warfare 3 beta. And to quote Ace directly from Twitter, he says, "I decided to compare my experience on my testing account, and big surprise, it's not even the same game. I'm not asking for bot lobbies like this, but there's got to be a middle ground that at least yields a fair feeling connection for my main account, because a lot of us had these issues throughout the beta where we have 150 health, but it seems like we're dying in 2 bullets. Then you see that little thing that pops up in the top right telling you how many times you got shot, and you're like, I got shot 6 times right there. That was like half a frame. Like, I melted, you know. The connection definitely did not feel good at times, and that is part of skill-based matchmaking, as you guys all know. It used to be back in the day that ping was king, and I remember fondly back in Call of Duty 4, World at War, I would find people in my lobbies, just random dudes on my team or the other team, that would have my area code in their clan tag. I saw it all the time, to the point where we started doing it too. So everyone had their area code in there, so we could say, oh, where are you from? Where are you from? You know, because it was based on ping, and we all were just playing with people from our general area. With skill-based matchmaking, if there aren't enough people of your perceived skill level or your ELO hidden invisible MMR ranking or whatever, if there aren't enough people close enough to you, then they're going to expand your horizons. How many times have you been in Modern Warfare 2, for example, and you're playing, it's like searching for ping under 40, searching for ping under 50, searching for ping under 75, searching for ping under 90, and they just keep going and going and going. It's like, you can't find me a lobby. Like, I'm not that far from Pittsburgh, man. I mean, Cleveland even isn't even all that real far away. Like, you're telling me I can't find people from around here where I can play under 100 ping? That's mind-blowing, right? That just, it goes into that hidden MMR rating that they have for us now. But also, I mean, skill-based matchmaking itself is so multifaceted. I'm not defending it here. I'm just saying there's different aspects to it that certain people may not think about, right? When it comes to skill-based matchmaking, I feel like a lot of the time, it's not even just like sweaty people on the other team, but have you guys noticed, it's always like people on your team that just don't do anything ever for some reason, which you think if it was like proper skill-based matchmaking, that like your teammates would also be sweaty, but it never seems to feel that way. It feels like the game is solely focused on screwing you over, despite the fact there are 12 people in the lobby. There's 11 other dudes there, you know, and obviously skill-based matchmaking is working for and against them as well. But here's an example, right? So I was playing the Modern Warfare 3 beta, sucking because I'm so bad on console, I'm so bad with the PlayStation controller and all that, and then the beta ended, and we're about ready to go to the next one, right? Weekend 2 starts tomorrow. And as such, I hopped on Modern Warfare 2 last night. I'm back on my PC, I'm back on my normal controller. I'm like, oh my god, I can actually shoot again. It felt great. But this is 10v10 Domination on strike. 2 of us, including myself, decided to actually go to the B flag. There are 10 people on my team, and only 2 of them, and Domination's been a game mode for like 20 years now, only 2 of us thought it might be a good idea to go capture the B flag at the very beginning of the match, and as such, because my teammates just obviously did not care about the objective really whatsoever, I was fighting tooth and nail the entire game, just trying to sweat my ass off here using this fancy RPK variant that I just got. And I'm like, this thing's cool looking. I want to try it out, and it felt really good, but I had a hard time really enjoying it because I am just having to fight and fight and fight to get these flags, get these kill streaks, try to take out the enemy team. Like, it was a struggle, and I can't wait for you guys to see the final score because it's actually pretty funny. But yeah, it just goes back to the entire idea that, like, no matter what you do, the matchmaking is working for or against you depending on how you're doing. I've had times in the beta where I just started leaving. You know, if I got into a lobby and my teammates weren't doing anything, like weren't trying to play the hard point, they weren't trying to capture flags, if the enemy team was just exceptionally better than mine, I've gotten to the point after years and years of dealing with this matchmaking, I just leave. It kind of leaves me apathetic. Like, I don't even really get angry anymore. I'm just like, oh, that lobby sucks. And then I just back out. If you guys don't know, I used to really be a stats guy. I used to love going for stats in COD. If you're an old school fan of the channel, or maybe you've been watching for a long time, you might remember, like, I'm making up numbers here. In Modern Warfare 3, the original one, I think I hit 10th prestige with about a 2 KD and an 18.0 win-loss ratio. I always played with my friends, so the win-loss ratio wasn't really fair, but we literally never lost because we played in a full party all day, every day, and had a blast back when Call of Duty was worth playing all day with your friends, and it didn't just punish you left and right for having a party or for having friends or even being good at the game. Black Ops 2, something like that too. You know, a 2.5 KD, 5 win-loss. I don't remember. Like, good stats, right? Above average stats. I used to really care about my combat record. I used to not want to have too many kills with the OP guns. I wanted to put up stats and maintain good stats back when we could see each other's stats in the lobbies and stuff like that via lobby leaderboards. I wanted to maintain good stats and a good combat record while also not using the OP stuff, you know, like, I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. But then, especially, I mean, even going up to Black Ops 4, I did the exact same thing. I got Dark Matter in Black Ops 4 and still had like a 2.5 KD, 5 win loss, something like that. Like, I always wanted to win. I was kind of an asshole to play with because my friends weren't playing the objective. I'm like, hey, get on the hard point. We got stats to maintain over here. Like, I was kind of a jerk about it sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. But when Modern Warfare 2019 hit and skill-based matchmaking was so ramped up that no matter what, like, the game always felt like it was working against you, and even if you just pushed back against it and you overcame the odds and you had a good game and you won the match and you did great, your next game was going to be even worse. And it just got worse and worse and worse until eventually everyone's KD and everyone's win-loss started to get closer and closer to 1. If you're a really bad player, you know, let's say you're like a 0.2 KD player, I'm talking like bad, right? The game is going to cater to you to the point where you're going to start rising up towards that 1 KD. But if you're like a 2-3 KD player, the game is going to not cater to you. It's going to punish you basically till you're getting closer and closer to that 1 KD. They want everyone to basically be the same, you know what I mean, with the whole matchmaking system. So I had a choice to make. I'm like, do I give up on the franchise I love? Do I give up on my YouTube channel that I've been doing for over a decade now? Do I just give up because this matchmaking system does not really allow me to play for my stats anymore? And honestly, I quit. Like, right away. Like, Modern Warfare 2019, you guys remember, I quit doing YouTube for like 6 months. I went and got a real job. I'm like, this ain't for me, you know. And then all this stuff started coming out for Black Ops Cold War. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll come back and give it a try because that's looking pretty good, and I've been doing it full time again ever since. But what I did, what made the franchise fun for me again, was I just became a progression guy, a grinder, basically. I love going for all the camos in the game. I love going for all the attachments and things like that. Like, how many times have you guys heard me talk about progression in the Call of Duty franchise? You know, I want like proper rewards for people that grind the game and people that are good at the game. I want a normal prestige system back. I want 100% challenges back and things for you to actually grind and earn and things like that. Like, the game itself is still fun to me. There's still something fun about having that domination match that's really close, or, you know, putting up a ton of kills in search and destroy, or clutching in search when your friends are watching. Like, at its core, I still love COD. It's my favorite game franchise. I've been playing it for 15 years, crying out loud. I still love it. Do I like skill-based matchmaking? Absolutely not. Like, I understand that certain people, going back to the Ace video, the people that he's facing here, and there's actually another Ace clip from Black Ops Cold War. This guy's great. He covers everything, man. Here's another clip that we got from Black Ops Cold War. He's on his test account, and again, these people are just, to call them bots might be too kind, honestly. Like, these people just, they don't know what's happening, right? It's as if I were to give my 72-year-old grandfather an Xbox controller and tell him, go out there and, you know, capture B. He's not, you know, he wouldn't know what to do, man. Like, he barely can work a cell phone. And that's kind of how these people are in this match right here. I do agree that on some level, maybe there should be a protected bracket for like the lowest form of player, like the people that like literally don't understand how their controller works or their keyboard and mouse or whatever. You know, maybe there should be some form of a protected bracket. But when skill-based matchmaking has gotten to the point where it's affecting your hit registration, it's affecting your connection, it's affecting everything, I see why so many people are getting upset about that. And we definitely saw a lot of that during the Modern Warfare 3 beta. The thing is, and it goes back full circle here to what I was talking about at the very beginning of the video, the reason why I don't bring it up, the reason why a lot of content creators don't talk about it or anything is like, we see it in the comments of all our videos and stuff, but like, what are we supposed to do? You know, we've talked about it to death. We've been talking about it for literally over 10 years now. If you go back to Black Ops 2, that was 2012. It's 2023, guys. We've been talking about skill-based matchmaking for 11 years. They won't acknowledge it. They never once have acknowledged it. And Charlie Intel said on Twitter, because, you know, he's been flown out to all these events and whatnot, the developers and the higher ups in Activision or Infinity Ward or Treyarch or Sledgehammer, they won't even speak to you about it in person. Behind closed doors, even like under NDAs and stuff like that, they will not speak about it. That's just where video games are right now. In general, Call of Duty, I think, is more egregious than others, but that's just where games are right now. They have found that this engagement optimized matchmaking or skill-based matchmaking, whatever it is you want to call it, I mean, you can give it whatever name you want, but it all means the same thing. It's profitable for them. They have the metrics, they have the analytics, it is profitable for them, and if that is something that is going to make it so you cannot play the game anymore, then I respect that. I really do. But for me, again, as someone, I'm a freaking YouTuber. I've been playing COD for 15 years. Like I've been playing, I'm about to turn 32 next month, right? I've been playing COD since I was 16. So maybe even 15, actually. So like literally half my life I've spent playing this franchise, and a big chunk of it covering it and playing it like professionally, not playing it professionally like a pro player, but like playing the game, streaming the game, YouTube and all that stuff. You know, like this has been my thing like my entire adult life. I found a way to get around it. I'm not going to reverse boost. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to do whatever. I'm just going to back out. If my lobby sucks, I'm just going to back out. And I have found you back out 2 or 3 times in a row, suddenly you get a good match. Weird how that works out. It's almost as if they have all these things behind the scene. They're like, you know, it doesn't seem like they're having fun, and they may want to close the game soon. So if they're closing the game, they're not looking at the shop. If we're not looking at the shop, then we're not making any money. So let's give him a good match. And you remember all the patents and stuff like that that were coming out in the past, which they claim are just exploratory patents, whatever. We know there's some sketchy shit behind the scenes when it comes to engaging players with the game and then putting them in lobbies with people that are using crazy stuff from the shop to encourage people to maybe want to buy it themselves. There's a reason why the things you can earn in the game are rarely, if ever, as good as the stuff you can buy in the shop, because they want the things that you pay for to be the coolest looking things in the game and things to make you stand out the most. That is just how things are. Is skill-based matchmaking good? Absolutely not. Is it here to stay? Absolutely. It's not going anywhere. So will I be playing the beta tomorrow and dealing with skill-based matchmaking and still trying to enjoy the game regardless? Yes, because again, it's literally at the point now, guys, where you have to make a decision. You can quit the franchise forever, or you can just understand the skill-based matchmaking is not going anywhere. And maybe over time, the analytics may change or whatever, and people might get burned out enough, and people might start leaving or whatever, and maybe they're going to start adjusting. I'm sure they adjust it every single year based on whatever the hell numbers they have. But skill-based matchmaking isn't going anywhere. And that's something I had to accept a long time ago, and I think the same is true for pretty much anyone else that still plays COD nowadays. And if you ever tune into my live streams, you'll see me making fun of it just about every game, just because that's what we do. That's what we do as players, man. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it is what it is. There you go. To summarize this whole ass video, I guess it is what it is. I mean, what else can we really do as players? What else can we do as content creators? What else can, news sites and media coverage, what else can we do that hasn't already been done? There really isn't anything, right? So obviously I agree with Ace. Obviously I want my connection. I want Ping to be king again, man. I don't I'm okay with having like good people on the other team, and hopefully some of them make it to my team as well. Like I'm okay with fairly competitive matches, but I will say Call of Duty drains me now. When I was streaming the beta the other day, not only when you're streaming and stuff, right? You're not only playing the game, but you're putting on a show, right? You're trying to be entertaining. You're talking to your chat. You're cracking jokes. You're trying to be entertaining for the people that are there. You're trying to have a good time yourself. I'm never going to be one of those content creators that just is solely focused on the gameplay, where they have a face cam that's more of a forehead cam because they're leaned so close up against their monitor and they don't even say a word. Like, they have the social skills of like a Wendy's napkin, but they're really goddamn good at the game and they just grind and grind and grind. That's not me, right? I play the game. I try to have fun with it and be entertaining and all that, but I tell you what, man, streaming COD for like 2 hours physically makes me tired. It's like it's mentally and physically exhausting to deal with like skill-based matchmaking and all that stuff for hours and hours on end, which goes back to the OG Modern Warfare 3 reference I made earlier. We used to play for like 8 hours a day, man. I remember I was like working at Walmart at the time, and so I'd get off. I worked like 3 to 11 at Walmart unloading trucks, and so I got home about 11:30 or so, and we're sitting there playing COD till 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd get some sleep, get up, get ready, go back to work, and start all over again, man. Like, COD was like my second job. I didn't even have a YouTube channel. I just loved playing it that much, and so did my friends. You know, I don't feel as though many people get that experience anymore. And hell, this is gonna be a longer video. Just buckle in, go grab a drink or something like that, man, because I got some more things I want to talk about here. Like, when it goes back to that, right, when it goes back to when you can just play with your friends and you're having a blast and all that, that was a much different time. Even going back to 2011, you know, like back when I was playing and back before I started doing YouTube and everything. I started my YouTube channel right at the end of Modern Warfare 3, right at the beginning of Black Ops 2, somewhere in that time frame, right? I feel like compared to then, the community right now is a lot more, it sounds so bad, like profit driven, which at the end of the day, like, I hope everyone gets their bag. I really do. But the rise of content creation and monetary incentives have really changed the game when it comes to not even just COD, but video games in general. I mean, whether we're talking about Twitter ad revenue sharing or TikTok, Twitch, Kick, freaking YouTube, wager matches, tournaments, and stuff like that, people are a lot more competitive now compared to back then. They're a lot more competent now compared to back then. And in a lot of cases, there's also a monetary incentive. Now, look, like, a lot of these people aren't going to make it big. Like, the people that are, you know, have the Twitch thing, like in their clan tag, or people that have their Kick in their clan tag, or they would make their own emblem promoting their YouTube channel on older games and whatnot. Chances are 99.9% of these people aren't going to make it big. They're not going to go pro. They're not going to become a full-time content creator that can like support themselves solely from video games and their content, but they do have that dream. And I love when people chase their dreams, but at the same time, knowing that most people aren't going to make it big, at the same time, they're playing the game anyways, and so I can see why they would want to monetize it in some form. Hell, even $50 here or there for playing the game, whether it's, you know, streaming on Twitch or posting a bunch of shit on Twitter, or, you know, you're making some YouTube videos and you finally got partnered and you're making a little scratch from that every couple of months. Every little bit helps, right? Especially in this economy. Holy shit, you see how expensive literally everything is. So I feel like content creation is a great side hustle for a lot of people, and that contributes to everything. Like, it's a trickle-down effect. If we have so many people out there that are trying to make money from the game, they're trying to make content from the game, they're trying to become the next best thing, or at least get their foot in the door, there's going to be a trickle-down effect there, because people are going to see them, you know, one friend makes $50 here or there, so this other friend wants to also try it. I can't tell you guys, as someone who's been doing YouTube professionally since 2012, I can't tell you how many of my friends in real life and online, or even family members, would be like, how can I do that too? How can I get in on this? Because look, it's freaking rough out there, man. Like, they're like, okay, well, you just play video games for a living. I'm like, well, it's a little bit different than that, but like, they got their own capture cards, they made their own channels, they started making their own videos, and inevitably they all quit, like pretty much right away, because they realize it's hard out there, man. It's hard to grow your channel. For me, it's hard to rebuild my channel after getting hacked and after just, I don't know, having such inconsistencies over the last few years. Like, rebuilding is hard. I mean, it's getting your foot in the door in the beginning is very hard, you know, and for a lot of people, they're like, ah, screw it, I don't really want to do that. But at the same time, initially, at one point, they did. And I think it's why you see a lot of people that are so sweaty in COD these days, because they're trying to make money from it, man. That, or maybe they just want to be good at the game. Heaven forbid they just want to enjoy something for the sake of enjoying it. But it goes to show, skill-based matchmaking is so multifaceted. Is it good at the end of the day? No, I definitely don't think it is. But going full circle here, man, it's definitely here to stay. And we're gonna have the beta releasing tomorrow. It's gonna be open for PlayStation. It's going to be a early access beta for Xbox and PC. So if you pre-ordered on Xbox or PC, or if you have a code, you can start playing the beta tomorrow. Then eventually the beta is going to go open for everybody for like 3 straight days, and you guys know all hell is gonna break loose at that point. But another thing about beta, just one final thing here, you know, when it comes to skill-based matchmaking and all that, when it's a PlayStation exclusive beta, I mean, look, PlayStation has a lot of players. I think the vast majority of COD fans are actually on PlayStation. But even then, it's a very small number of people that were playing the beta compared to how many people are going to be there at launch. And as such, I think it was a lot easier for skill-based matchmaking to kick in when there was a smaller number of people out there, because you don't have to cater to so many different people all at the same time, you know. So when the open beta hits, I feel like it's going to be alleviated just a little bit. I think it's not going to be nearly as bad with the full launch either, but it's still going to be there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the final word for this video, I suppose. What a long one. I hope you all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback on skill-based matchmaking down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.